Hey guys, welcome back to Total Fitness Podcast. This is Matthew.
I'm Walter.
And today we are going to be talking about something that happened recently to a bodybuilder named Ryan Crowley. You've probably seen the video of him tearing his pec that was posted on another bodybuilder powerlifter Instagram page named Larry Wheels. If not, I would suggest not watching it if you're squeamish. It's pretty brutal. It's honestly one of the worst muscle tear videos I have ever seen. And yeah, we're going to including my own. Yes. Yes. Definitely worse than that. So we're going to talk about it today, explain kind of what went wrong, why we think or what we think about it, and go from there. So Walter, first thoughts after seeing that video.
Well, it was a bit like watching a horror movie, and I've got to say that it made me realize once again how intricately built we are as entities. That everything folds over one thing over the other thing, and it all sticks together, and it all comes together. And you put too much stress on it, and boom, it travels across your chest in this huge lump, and makes me go ah.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So if you just as a brief
and then watch it 8
explanation.
more times.
Yeah. Yeah. I know it was gross. It basically, if you don't want to watch the video, it pops. Like it just from right at the insertion, it just tears completely off the bone, and it looked like it jumped across his body. It was really, really bad. Basically, what had happened was this gentleman, Ryan, he's 23 years old. He is en route to becoming a pro. He's huge, lean, all the good things, right? He was training with a guy named Larry Wheels, who's known for really insane heavy lifts. Larry has injured himself quite a few times. He's trained with people who have injured themselves because he pushes them. Anyways, I guess what had ended up happening was, again, it's not Larry's fault because Larry could say something, but at the end of the day, it's your responsibility what you do in the gym. So Ryan threw on 5 plates, so 495 pounds, onto an incline bench press. The second it started coming down, his chest basically popped off, and that was it. It tore off the bone. If it wasn't for Larry Wheels being the spotter and how strong he is, the bar probably would have crushed him and possibly killed him because of how much weight was actually on the bar. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to explain what our thoughts are on this. Do you want to go first?
Don't do it, dude. What's up? Almost said a word that we would have to. Honestly, I understand the value of ego. I understand that that's what drives me to lift. Really, I want to see myself looking good, being the best I can be. However, I believe that Instagram and some of the other social media sites drive us to do things that are going to sell. They drive us to put that extra plate on because it's going to be seen. Now, you and I have both made the mistake. You've had injuries. I have not. But, I'm thinking about the time we loaded up the leg press with as many as we could possibly get on. As
and
many plates.
Somebody stand on top of it.
And then had somebody stand on top because it looked good in the picture.
Yeah.
How dangerous that was for us. I mean, I have been in the room when a man herniated himself on the leg press machine.
Yeah.
I know how dangerous and how difficult that can be. Or you can go too far and pop your kneecap right out because you've gone too straight and you've put too much pressure on the leg. So, I mean, you do have to realize that we are intricate. What's the word?
Intricate. Oh, I just said it and I lost it.
But we are put together in such a fine way.
Intricate way.
Yeah. That was weird. That the smallest amount of pressure in the wrong way can create an issue like this. And you have to be careful not to do those things. And I think if we allow our ego to press us into adding that extra plate, if you got to have two guys, a guy on either end, making sure that the thing doesn't fall down, and your spotter, then there's too much weight on the bar. It's quite simple.
So, well, let me clarify because, so as a power lifter, actually, no, because you are right. Because on an incline press, it really doesn't show much.
That's not a power lift move.
It's not a powerlifting move, really. But to your point, if your goal is just be as strong as humanly possible, like I understand it. If that is the goal and you're willing to risk the injury to reward ratio for that, by all means, go for it. Just understand that you will probably injure yourself at some point in your career. I mean, look at all the strongmen, look at all these powerlifters. I mean, shit, man, look at me. I've injured myself too many times because I do enjoy being strong. I want to be strong. He's a bodybuilder. He's a 23-year-old bodybuilder who actually could have made a really big impact in terms of just his presence on the sport, not necessarily like becoming Mr. Olympia, maybe, but he had a lot of potential to build up his career really, really, really well because of his social media influence and the fact he was going to compete. Now, he basically risked his entire career in terms of bodybuilding, sponsorship, all that by doing something like this. Again, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say like I'm a better person for not doing it because I've done stupid shit. All I'm going to say is he was a bodybuilder. He shouldn't have been doing that. There's no need to be doing 1 rep maxes as a bodybuilder.
But how often are we going to have to see stupid shit like this?
Yeah.
Other people have done it by trying to do a bicep curl with far too much weight and torn their bicep, and why? So that they could get the picture on Instagram.
Yep.
Ha ha ha, look at me. Well, no, there's a science, there's a sport, there's no room for stupid.
Yeah.
Do you set up your race car for the spectacular crash it'll do, for trying to go that extra? You've got to be aware of what you can handle and then not go any further. And you've got to be aware of what your sport is. If he's a bodybuilder, he's going for hypertrophy. He's not going for strength. He's not a strong man.
Yeah.
There's a difference in the way that we train. There's a difference in the result that we're trying to get. He's trying to build mass and keep lean. He's trying to build something aesthetically, which a powerlifter doesn't do. A powerlifter is interested in doing his lift, being as strong as possible.
Yeah.
But he's not worried about how he looks.
But it's also powerlifters nowadays, they're smart with how they train to avoid injury, and it can still happen. When you go into a gym, and we've done this how many times, we load up the squat bar with like 4 or 5 plates, whatever it is, and we just keep piling on because we're like, man, I feel good today. I should go for a 1 rep wrap or a 1 rep max. I know we said we would just do like 2 plates by 10 reps for 10 sets or something.
But I feel good today.
I feel good today. So I'm going to go for 1 rep. And then I go for another 1 rep week after week after week. And it's like, what good is it doing us aside from stroking our ego to say, yeah, I squatted 500 pounds? It's not really doing anything for our bodies aside from possibly risking injury. Again, when it comes down to hypertrophy, there is a 1 rep overlay in terms of strength training versus hypertrophy, and that is 5 to 6 reps. Hypertrophy is defined typically around 6 reps to 30. Strength is 1 to 5, or 1 to 6, sorry, somewhere in that range, right?
Yeah. So
why are you doing 1 rep? Why are you doing 1 rep?
That's it.
Are you even activating?
I see kids doing that all the time. Yeah. Kids who are doing their 1 rep max every single workout, and then wondering why they're not getting the results they want to get.
Why?
But again, where's the science?
Where's the muscle activation? Bodybuilding is heavily based on this idea of mind-muscle connection. Are you really working the muscle when you're doing a 1 rep max? You jump on the floor, do 1 push-up. Are you actually working the muscle that well?
Before you go in, you think about it very well, and you actually make sure that the muscle is contracted to the best of its ability using your mind, and then you get in and you do the slow push-up.
Yeah, it's just a 30-second negative push-up.
Yeah.
Again, it's not needed. It's not necessary. And I feel really bad for the guy because I've been there. I know at the end of the video, you can hear him just say no in like the most disappointing tone possible. And it radiated with me because the second I tore my quad, I was like, I knew exactly how that felt. It's a shit feeling because like the adrenaline kicks in. Once that adrenaline kicks off and you're in the hospital and you're thinking about it, you're like, damn, man, what am I going to do? And for me, it wasn't as bad because mine didn't tear off the bone. Knock on wood, I never got injured again doing something like that. But for him, it was, and he was done.
That's it.
So that's like 6 to 9 months, even with the stuff that these guys take, like even with GH, even with all these peptides they can take. I still a long recovery.
It's a slog, and he may never balance the way that he looks.
Yeah,
there will always be that slight difference between the two sides that maybe wouldn't have been there before, and that's going to be a judgeable difference.
Exactly.
So how now he's going to have to really be focused on with his posing. How is he making sure that they always look as equal as possible? And that's another extra bit of stress added on to getting up on stage and posing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look at how long it took Antoine to recover from his bicep curl.
Exactly.
Right, or his bicep tear. And like he was fine. It's getting to the point where he built up the sizing. And it took him almost a year and a half or something, a year to get it back to almost the same size as his other bicep.
That's the young guys.
Jeremy Buendia, who was the 4-time three or 4-time physique Olympia, he tore his pec. Anytime he poses it, you can tell it was torn. Dennis Wolf. I mean, to be fair to Dennis Wolf, he tore his calf, and nobody judges calf in bodybuilding apparently. But it was gone. Like it was just a stick.
What am I doing all this work for?
Yeah, I know, right? So it's again, it's really unfortunate. It really does suck, and I feel for the guy because this is his career, this is his money, this is what he was doing, this was his life, and now he is basically sitting by, waiting for himself to heal.
Yeah,
possibly. And again, every single time I go and squat in my squat rack right now, I think of that quad. I'm like, all right, I have to be focused on what I'm doing so I don't do it. Every time I go under a bench press, I have to make sure I don't tear my pec. All of these things that you don't have to think about before you're injured, it's constant fear now. You have to make sure you're on top of everything, right?
Exactly.
So
it is interesting, though. I was reading Victor Black yesterday, and he gave out a bunch of the numbers, the stats in terms of injuries versus which exercise. And bodybuilders get the least amount of injuries.
Yeah.
So if you're going to be a bodybuilder, think about being a bodybuilder, not about being a powerlifter at the same time.
This is it. As a bodybuilder, in my opinion, you don't need to bench press with a bar. You don't need to deadlift off the floor. We are bodybuilders. We're not powerlifters. Those are two of the most dangerous movements that you could do to your body. You even look at what's his name, Robert Oberst. He says the same thing on the Joe Rogan podcast. He was talking about how deadlifts are useless if you're not a deadlifter, or if you want if you want a strong deadlift, great. Risk to reward, not worth it. If you're willing to accept that risk, go for it. I'm not, so I do rack pulls if I want to do like a deadlift motion. I do Romanian deadlifts more for my glutes and my hamstrings, but I use dumbbells and I go lower weight. I just go more for a pump. Like I don't do these things that I know could injure me based on already injuring myself doing these exercises. Right.
That's it. Just think ahead.
Yeah.
Think about what you're really doing.
Worry about if you are if you're a strength athlete, worry about your form, your recovery, and making sure everything is right. Don't rush. If you have a coach, or if you're just self-coached, don't rush your program. Don't go into the gym thinking you're going to hit 1 rep maxes every single day. If you're a bodybuilder, if you're just a physique athlete, I guess you could call it, then go into the gym and understand that your machines are probably your safest bet that will actually build the muscle properly, isolate it properly, and keep you safe. Look at Jay Cutler. I personally hate quarantine right now because I still don't have a gym. Either does Walter, but I still don't have a gym. I love machines because they would activate perfectly. I could switch my grip on any back machine and I could hit so many different parts of my back, and it was safe. So for me, it was the easiest and safest and best way to make sure I didn't get injured. Whereas with free weights, there was a chance of getting injured. Sure, call me a pussy. I don't care. I'd rather take machines over free weights. Until you get injured, you don't really know.
If they're going to call you a pussy, they're calling Jay Cutler a pussy too. Just remember that.
Yeah, exactly. But at the end of the day, if you have not been injured, and I have been injured way too many times on everything on my right side of my body has been injured. Torn here, torn on my quad, torn on my back. It's not worth it for myself. Say what you want for yourself, but for me, machines are the way to go. Anyways.
I agree.
Stay safe and stay healthy. Don't tear your shit.
That's it.
All right, guys. That's a quick little video. Again, if you're squeamish, don't watch the video. It's pretty disturbing. But if you want to see what happens, it's on Larry Wheels' Instagram page, and I'm sure you could find it on any YouTuber's page that covers bodybuilding news because it was everywhere. So anyways, guys, stay safe, stay healthy, train smart.
That's it. Stay blessed, stay breezy.
All right, guys, take care.